Oh, that's way too close. Actually, that's not bad. Well, shoot. Maybe we'll zoom it out a little bit more. I have to sync it up here. Syncing, sync. All right, everything should be synced up. Phone. Okay. Still going. Good. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final video of the 351 modified rebuild in my 1977 F250 camper special. This is the final video, the up-to-date video. If you haven't watched the previous video, it was is part 9. It's kind of a jumbled up video. I was towards the end of the build and I really wanted to get it done fast, so I kind of was hurrying and didn't record a lot. And I'm working in a shop with others and they're playing music and I can't put certain parts in because there's music copyright stuff on YouTube. Regardless, we're here now. It's actually been a very long time since you saw that last video. That last video was probably filmed, what is it, January? It's like January 20th. I think that last video was probably filmed early December, before Christmas, I do believe. So it's been, I'm a little rusty here. I haven't filmed in a long time. I've done a lot of editing, but I haven't filmed in a while. The truck's doing great. It runs, drives, everything went well on that break-in period with the cam break-in and just all the stuff. After I ended that video, it was kind of an abrupt ending. The truck actually fought me for a couple more months. The truck just has always had this problem where it will not idle. It does not want to idle no matter what I do. Carburetor, whatever, it doesn't want to idle. So I ended up getting a new carburetor, a Chinesium unit for 90 bucks. Shout out to my dad for helping me out with that. I really didn't have the money to go buy a $400 Holley 2-barrel or something, so whatever, make do with what I got. One thing about this carburetor that I do have to say is it is smaller than factory. The factory Venturi bores on a Motorcraft 2150 are 2.15 inches, I think, 351 CFM, and these are 2.4 inches or 1.14 inches, and the original is 1.15 inches or something. This is like a 300 CFM carb. It actually is pretty good. I had to drill the jets out, but for being a Chinese unit, but for being a foreign unit, it's pretty good. It's from China, but you know, give them the benefit of the doubt. It's all right. It's got some weird quirks and features, but it's a pretty decent carburetor. Still doesn't idle with, so the way you set up a carburetor, there's transfer slots, and you're supposed to have the transfer slots at a square on the carburetor for it to only run on the idle circuit of the carb. This carburetor will not do it. There's no, trust me, if you're an old timer or something, there's nothing. I can't do anything to make this idle. It idles literally at, the side note is, after the rebuild, the engine is able to idle it like, with the transfer slots at a square at like 2 turns out, 1.5 turns out on the mixed screws. It probably can idle at like 100 RPM. It barely idles, but it never used to be able to do that. It could never idle that low. It idles so low that it almost stops getting fuel pressure. So, which is super good. That means that it's, in my opinion, that means that it's really dialed for it to be able to idle that low, a V8, you know, at very low idle. But what I ended up having to do was open the transfer slots up quite a bit. So you give and you take what you got right now. I need the truck, so I'm just doing with what I got. It won't hurt anything. It'll just use some more fuel, and it's on the run circuit instead of the idle circuit. I have heard about drilling in the throttle blades. Don't really want to do that right now. The truck does fine. In the previous video also, when I first started, it was revving. It was going like run, run, run when I first started it that first time. The vacuum advance on this is screwed up on the stock Motorcraft distributor, so I actually bought a new one. I got to put that in. Since the carburetor is past ported, so the ported port is exposed to vacuum, I'm not going to run it off ported manifold on the carburetor. I'm going to run it off real manifold. Regardless of doing that, it still is not running right no matter how I adjust the vacuum advance canister. it'll either won't run at all and backfire and it won't even start, or it'll rev. And in that video, when it was revving, if you'll notice, you can see I had the Vacuum Advance canister plugged in, and I ended up unplugging that, and I think it worked. Yeah, I unplugged it from the carburetor, and the truck ran fine. Did its wear in for the cam. I think I ended up letting it run for, I think it was 2,300 RPM at 15 minutes or something like that. I can't quite remember. Needless to say, it's got a new carburetor on it. The other thing that happened is the old carburetor, the 2150, was really screwed up. Something was super wrong with it. It wouldn't idle. It was missing. The mixture was screwed up. And I noticed that way down inside where the mixture screw seat, the actual seat for the mixture screw, you could look with a flashlight. And one of them was shiny and looked like it had been wallered out. And the other one was still the cast material, the cast aluminum. And that ended up running my oil so thin. I'm really lucky, actually. It ended up putting so much fuel into my oil that the oil is basically like water. And it didn't run right. It was almost like the water or the oil was so thin and diluted out with fuel that it wasn't like allowing the hydraulic lifters to pump properly. It was just doing a lot of weird stuff. So I drained the fuel, and I got a new carburetor. I'm hopefully, or a new distributor, new carburetor, but I got a new distributor I got to put in it. A lot of talking. I'm just kind of telling y'all what's going on with the truck, because it's been such a long time. Last you saw it, I had the hood stripped off and it was all messed up. The truck's does great. We've drove it a couple times now. Some new things that it has: the brake pedal is not returning. I don't know why. I can't really worry. It's not a huge deal. The brakes work really well. It won't return, and it wasn't doing that, which is weird. It actually worked for quite a long time where it would return. I don't know what the deal is. It may just need some lubrication on some components. I've never really even touched the master cylinder. I don't want to take the master cylinder off. I don't want to have to re-bleed it. I've already re-bled all the brakes on this and put new fluid in it and everything. I'd really prefer not to take the master cylinder off. And if I have to drive it with a brake pedal that won't return, I mean, it's not a huge deal. You just got to stick your foot under it and pull it up, or else the truck won't move because it's applying brakes. But I'm hoping the new distributor will fix my Vacuum Advance problem, because I've been trying to tune the Vacuum Advance on this to get more fuel mileage. It does fine on initial and mechanical, which now that's going to be completely different because I have a new carburetor. I'm going to have to see. I'm going to have to retime it, and I'm going to have to see when my mechanicals comes all in. But whatever, that's all not a huge deal. It'll take like 30 minutes, hour, hopefully, if it all works correctly. The reason I bought a new carburetor is the old one was pretty worn out, and I kind of just cobbled it together with pieces, and I figured, you know what, distributor is pretty important. I don't know if I said carburetor. I'm feeling a little rusty. So I just bought a new distributor. It's got, all the stuff that it needs, new Vacuum Advance. The original Vacuum Advance, I'm actually pretty bummed out. It was the stock Ford Motorcraft Vacuum Advance, and I was turning it because I've been adjusting it back and forth so much, trying to get like the correct area for it to idle, around 200 RPM or 2000 RPMs. It's pulling, it probably pulls anywhere between 15 to 20 pounds, probably 17 to 20 more like it. Above 15, you're doing pretty good. Above 20, it's doing really good. As you saw in the clip, getting super high oil pressure. When it's warm, it's getting probably 30. And another thing that's a problem with this truck is it's winter here. Winter. Not really looking like winter, but I put a 180-degree thermostat in this, and with the huge radiator, the aluminum radiator, it barely gets up to temp. I can have the heat running. It like really struggles to get up to temp, and also fixing the heads as well. If you saw in the previous video, someone installed the head gaskets wrong and blocked off like the main port. And if you are someone that's watching this that's older, keep in mind that this truck has tested me far more than anything in terms of a materialistic item. I've never done anything, and I know stuff about engines, and I've mixed my words up before, and I've learned a lot with this engine and rebuilding it, but everything seems to be good. No knocking. There's a little bit of lifter noise, not like a collapsed or a wiped cam lobe, just lifter noise, push rod stuff. So other than that, there's really not much else to talk about. Some other things I got to fix is windshield wipers. I got new ones of those. That headlight went out. This one works. I got new ones of those, new distributor, got a higher degree thermostat. I got a 195. And it needs a rear float, and the rear tank is sunk, so I got to put a new float in it. And that's really it. I'm preparing to go on a very long trip with this truck, over 500 miles, and I'd really prefer to have the extra gas mileage with vacuum advance. But if push comes to shove, I guess I'll drive without vacuum advance. That'll suck, but is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. Does have new tires on it as well. I don't think in the previous video it had new tires. They are P-rated tires, but I don't plan on hauling anything with this. If you know anything about 8-lug trucks or 3/4 ton, you're not supposed to put P-rated tires on a truck, which the part I don't understand is F-150s have P-rated tires and you can overload them just the same as this. Anyways, so I guess I'll take you guys for a little walk around it. It runs, everything's fine. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I've been afraid to drive the truck. This truck has really made me not feel comfortable driving it. It's kind of a wild beast to me. You know, I'm used to fuel injected stuff. And this truck has just really thrown me for some loops, and it has always got some new thing going on. But I'm really trying to warm up to it and trust it on the road. It darts around a lot. I've tried adjusting the steering box way in with the steering screw, and there's still some play. I don't know why. The steering box I don't think it's that old. The pitman arm's not loose or anything, so I don't know why. It's from the steering wheel into the box, but I don't know. So I guess I'll take you guys for a walk around it and kind of show you everything. Yeah, I guess we'll get right to it. Alright everyone, it has been quite some time since I've held a camera like this in selfie mode here, so pardon me if I'm a little shaky or something weird. The DSLR does get kind of heavy, but there's the truck. Here I am. It's a beautiful Oregon sunny day in the middle of January. I don't know, weird weather we're having. But there's the truck. If you don't know anything about this truck, 1977 Ford F250 custom Explorer Camper Special. I don't know the orientation of how those go, but the most recent series has been rebuilding this truck, rebuilding the engine in this truck, and it's just kind of the new thing that I've taken on. And also, my videos have not, I want to take a little side note here and talk about some things. My videos have been getting really bad viewership. They basically barely get 50 views, and I have like, I'm getting really close to 700 subscribers actually, which I'm super stoked about. But if you could drop a like on the video, it would really help me out. I'm really trying to do a good job filming. I have a lot of money invested in filming equipment. I mean, the camera I have is over $1,000 camera, and you know, I could have not taken the time to film, but I literally filmed everything I did to this truck. So if you could just drop a thumbs up, that'd be really helpful. Maybe comment. I'm just out here trying to share my experience as a young guy with these trucks, because nobody really does this anymore. And yeah, we're gonna jump right into it. So the 351 is under the hood, back to a C6. It is a long bed. It's dirty. Well, kind of the last time you saw it, the paint was all nice and white. Not so much anymore. As you can see, it's a little bit of a dirty unit here. I also do got new spark plugs, because I fuel fouled these spark plugs, or these, yeah, spark plugs. My brain. I fuel fouled the spark plugs probably, I don't know, over 5 times, so surprising that they even run. Because I have the idle on the carburetor turned up, it does idle in park at around 1,000 RPM, and then that was the whole issue with the idle thing. You know, I could get it to barely idle fine in park, but when I put it into drive, it'd kill it. So I got it idling around 1,000 RPM now, and around 600, 657 area in drive. I am noticing some rust, which is okay. One side note, these are leaking, but this doesn't matter because I gotta take this off. The new radiator, I didn't really show how to put that on. I ended up having to do some crazy temporary spacers to get the fan to sit in the radiator, because the fan, this shroud was like up here, and I just didn't like the way it looked. The fan was super exposed and kind of dangerous, but yeah, that thing, I haven't touched that actually, and it works fine. Brakes work great, but yeah, that's gonna get new ICM module. It's got a new, well, the distributor is going to be replaced, but it's got new wires. Actually, man, it really has been a long time. These wires ended up pulling out of their ends because their grip's so good to the spark plugs down there, so I had to replace all the wires. I replaced this because I thought this might have been bad. I replaced this because I thought this might have been bad, and it actually did have a problem. The let's see, this is going to be This is starter, this is ignition. I believe the ignition, one of these was actually loose. It had broke off inside there, so that was an actual problem. Replaced the voltage regulator. This is squeaking. When you rev it up really high, it starts squealing. I haven't replaced that. I'm trying to think. I've replaced the key switch. I do plan on doing something here, making like a wood storage box or something there, metal maybe. So there's the engine. I'll just let you guys kind of look at it. It's got a new air filter and little things like that. So it's got a new air filter and little things like that. Some other things that happened in that video, that balancer or that pulley down there was majorly screwed up. If you remember in a very previous video, I was like, man, that thing's bent and all warped and weird, the bolts on it. Well, there's a reason. That thing, if you don't get them like super mega tight, it's off balance and all kinds of screwed up. It does leak some oil because I had these valve covers off, and those gaskets are junk. They're actually, those gaskets are worse than the original ones. I should have put the original ones back on there. They'd have been completely fine. But move on to the interior here, but that's all right. Here's your pedal situation. So the pedal's all the way up. Oh well, now it's not going to do it because it doesn't have vacuum to it. Gauge cluster, everything here works. Auxiliary and all that work. I did end up taking the radio out here, and I don't want to drill anything on this truck, so I just put the radio right there. I do have it unplugged partially right now. The only thing I have unplugged on that is the memory retention, so it remembers stations and stuff. Put new speakers in the doors, super cheap eBay units. Some things you gotta slam these doors pretty hard. These locks are screwed up, and this one, the spring dealing on the side here broke off. I don't know, these are like $40 each, and this thing's like 30 or something. Don't have the money for that right now. I need to do window seals. I'm out of breath, talking so much. I haven't talked this much in a long time. So, there's the back. I'm trying to think if there's anything. There's the bed. Bed's definitely got some rust issues. I'll probably have to end up painting this bed here pretty soon. Which not a huge deal. Beds aren't that hard to do. It's pretty simple. Some of the things I need to do is like, there used to be like some weird storage rack thing here that's really screwed the bed up, and I need to go through and file all these down. There's a gazillion holes and they're super sharp. Whoever previous owner put thrush packs on here too. This is a true dual. There's no X-pipe or anything, so this is actually dual exhaust. This thrush is faced for straight pipe, and the one I put on is got the cones facing into the airflow, so they make it quiet. So one side's like super loud and the other side's quiet. Put that antenna on. That's aftermarket antenna. The original antenna is like, I don't know, it's a lot of money. But I guess I can start it up now for you guys and gals. I have hit my head on this so many times getting into this sucker, because I mean, when you think about it, so when I go to get in, it's like, watch out. Show you guys everything here. So, and we'll park. Starts right up. Doing good. Everything there is good. Yeah, I guess we can real quick just to show you guys the difference in noise. There's that one. And I'm not trying to hot rod this thing, so I don't want it to be loud. Runs great. So yeah, I don't, there's really not much to know. So I do have the transfer slot open quite a bit. I don't know how many turns out I got it. I don't know. I don't. My mixture screws are like one. I don't even remember. I think they're either 1 1/4, 1 1/2, or 1 3/4. They're somewhere around in there. So it doesn't really seem to make a whole lot of difference, but man, when you get those down to a certain point, the truck just dies. It will not run. So, in the gear. Oh, that's neutral. So it's pretty good. What is that? That'd be 2, 4, 6. So it's about 700 RPM. And as you can see now, foot on the brake. I don't know why it's doing that, because it used to not do that. It actually feels like vacuum is holding it closed. Not quite sure on that. I'll have to look into it. I know I'm getting rid of this trailer deal because no trailers use this anymore. They use electric, but all that works. Fan works. There might be some leaves in there, but everything works because I took that all out and cleaned it. I feel like there's more I need to show you guys, but gosh, I don't know how to make this video more, you know. I need to not refer to it as the 351. What's next for the 77, the Ford F250? I'm not quite sure what's next on it. So, the last things I have to do to this truck, if the brakes don't give me issues. I gotta take this phone out of my pocket. I hate having phones in my pocket. It's like a foreign object. Ugh, don't like it. Uncomfortable. I got the distributor. I gotta change gears on the distributor. The one I bought is a machine gear, and this needs a cast gear, so it's not a huge deal. I just gotta punch a little pin out and make sure everything lines up. Some things I gotta do. Make sure the vacuum advance is all working, if I can get it working. I gotta put the washer dealio back in, and there's a F fitting up there, plastic F fitting that divides for the sprayers. I gotta replace that fitting. It's right up there. It broke off, super brittle. Well, what else do I need to do? Yeah, look at this. Look at that down there, Janko. Doesn't that suck? Sometimes you just gotta do some whack work, but whatever. I mean, it's in there, like, it does not move around, so. What else do I gotta do? I've gotta fix the sunk float in the rear tank. And believe it or not, you know, contrary to popular belief, these trucks don't get great gas mileage. We've drove that. My dad has drove the truck the past 2 times. I haven't drove the truck yet because I'm still a little nervous. But I'm just nervous because I don't want it to leave me stranded on the side of the road. I don't want the stress of that, man. I hate that kind of stuff. I've worked so hard on this, and I just want it to run and do what it's supposed to do. But there's no guarantees. Whatever. Anyways, I got to do windshield wipers, the rear float. I'd like to get some stuff resealed, like that side compartment where the gasket's all jacked. Gotta fix that. And then maybe do the door seals. They're pretty drafty. Oh, and the thermostat. That's a huge one, actually. The thermostat's a big deal because when it gets cold, it does not blow that hot of air. It's pretty weak sauce air. And you can tell the reason I say it doesn't open is because the stock gauge in the dash barely will read past cold when it's been running for like quite some time, and that's new. Pardon me, that's new. And other than that, I don't think there's much else. I gotta replace the headlights. I can't think of anything else. I've worked so hard on this truck. Let me tell you what. Like, the videos don't really do it justice. I lost lots of sleep over this vehicle and what it was gonna cost me. But I got through it. The Lord saw me through it, so that's good. And down the road, I will be getting a better carburetor. You know what I don't like about carburetors? The crazy thing, I rebuilt this entire engine for probably under $400, and a new carburetor is like $400, dude. Like, come on. Whatever. I don't care. I mean, yes, they're good quality. They're good quality. I will not shun that, but I don't know, man. It just seems like everything. Well, it doesn't seem like it. Everything's a gazillion dollars now, so. Whatever. That's not what this video is about. This video is about the truck. I really can't think of anything else. I'm super happy that it runs and drives. I posted on a forum and people were ripping me apart, these older guys, and I understand where they're trying to come from about me having an extra transfer slot, but like, there's literally nothing I can do. Like, trust me, when I say there's nothing I can do, I mean there's really nothing I can do. Like, I have spent months, put it this way, before I rebuilt the engine, I've spent, I think, probably 9 months, was about 9 months, not 7 to 9 months, trying to get this truck to run, studying everything I could, everything about the engine, I mean, everything about this truck. So, I am happy that it runs with the transfer slots open. It runs great. Last time we drove it, went to ship a package off, and I had my dad stand on it, and it got up and moved, and that's with no vacuum advance, so I'm pretty happy with that. My initial is 13, and that doesn't even, my initial's 13, that's gonna stay the same, but my mechanical, I don't know what it'll be now, because the new carburetor has different springs. They look different from the little hole I could see, but other than that, the truck is done. It's done. That sounds so weird to say in a YouTube video, because I don't know what to film next now. I have nothing to film. I got some like minor here and there videos, but nothing real crazy to film. So yeah, yep, the chickens are demolishing grass, so who knows what's next? I don't know. I really don't know, guys. This truck has been a lot to deal with. It has been a lot. Oh, actually, I could show you the real quick. If anybody knows, I mean, like, that's kind of whack, and the bottom is not moving at all, and I've turned that in like many amounts, more than I should at a time. So it did that beforehand too, but man, not much else to talk about. Let me crush my phone real quick in the compartment there. Did that? No, that did not shut. Give me it, truck, come on. There we go. So you gotta shut it like a man. Yeah. So I can't think of anything else. I could show you guys. Oh, that's right. I do have something else to talk about. So one of the block plugs was leaking, and it miraculously, two of them were leaking, and they miraculously stopped leaking. I don't know how. I think when the truck got hot, when we went and drove it, the first time we drove it, my dad was like, "Can I drive it?" And I was like, "Man, I don't know. I don't want you to drive it." I'm like, "I'm nervous. I don't want it to break down. It's late." He's like, please let me drive it. Just let me drive it. I was like, okay, we'll go to a local town that's a little ways out and we'll drive it. And we went and drove it, and he stood on it. And when he first stood on it, it definitely had, I think because I had idled it so much, I had idled it. It sounds insane. I think I've idled, so the issue is with the old 2150, it put a lot of fuel in and would wash plugs out. Like, it would run fine when it was cold, but man, when it heated up, it would just smoke plugs, those plugs that are still in there. But I want to say, I guarantee you, the whole time since this thing was sitting in the backfield, I'll show you the spot where this thing was. That's kind of cool. I'll show you where this thing originally was, this truck. Maybe I'll throw some pictures in of what this truck used to look like. It was pretty rough. 2008. This thing's been sitting since 2008, and beginning of last year, now 2021, I got it fixed up. But I think I've probably idled, both tanks hold 42 gallons. I've probably idled 80 gallons through this motor idling. So, which, yeah, just, you gotta move on from things. So when he went out and took it out, and one thing he wanted to do was get it really hot. Well, he definitely, he was on it up in the RPMs pretty serious, and that kind of gave me a reassurance that no bearings were gonna spin. We stood on it and like definitely kept it up in the RPM range and made sure that it was like hogging for the whole time we drove there and back. And when he first stood on it, when he like gave it the beans, he was going, I don't know, 40, 50. It definitely was doing some backfiring, smoking, black smoke, which is unburnt fuel coming out that side specifically. I wasn't able to look over in that mirror. I looked over in this mirror, but after that moment, we went out and got some food, and on our way back, it was nighttime, and it did fine. It didn't backfire, and when we took it out the other day to go deliver a package, it did great. It literally, the only problem it had was that the brake pedal was sticking, which honestly, that's not a super big problem. You can always, better to have too much stopping than not enough. And it was just really nice. You know, I've put a lot of work into this truck, and it was really nice just to be able to drive it. And specifically that one night we came back, the headlight was working. You know, but they were aimed bad, but both headlights were working. Heater was working, keeping us somewhat warm. It was just really, I need to look at the camera. It was really nice to like see my hard work kind of pay off. I think that's something that's kind of gone nowadays with younger people. You don't like tackle huge projects. It doesn't seem like very many people do that anymore. Something like this, this like tested me. It was definitely, this tested my mettle, as you would say. This thing put me through the ringer, man. But I came out on top victorious, and I'm super happy that the truck is the way it is. I feel pretty blessed that I've been able to have the opportunity to, you know, work in a shop and just do all the stuff. You know, a lot of people don't have that opportunity, or they're too scared, but I'm just really glad that I was able to do that. Side thing is, a couple weeks ago, I put a new fuel pump in this. I gotta hurry because the time on the camera's running out. I put a new fuel pump in this, and went out one morning to let it warm up. I just wanted to start it just to like ease my curiosity if it still ran. I went and started it and went and let my goats out, and I came back and I'm like, man, what's all that? And it had snowed, and I'm like, what's all that water coming from the under area? It was dripping off the connector, the connection bar. I'm blinded. The bar that connects the, my brain's not working. It comes off the pitman arm and goes down and connects both wheels, so both wheels turn. I was like, man, that kind of smells like fuel. What in the world? And this thing had been idling for a while. I was actually really, really lucky. And I opened the hood, and I'm like looking around. I'm like, oh, there's kind of water on the driver's side. And I'm like, what's going on? And I turn it on and go and look, and the stinking fuel pump had busted where it's joined together. The like top piece and the bottom had broke, and it was spraying fuel only backwards all over the oil filter and the burning hot exhaust. Like, it was coating that side of the engine in fuel. And the only reason it didn't catch on fire was because there was so much fuel coming out. It was pumping like quarts of fuel out. So thankfully I caught that. The truck really could have like caught on fire and burned down, and that would have been awful. But I put the old one back in from who knows when, and it does just fine. So I'm gonna leave the old one in. It does great. I don't know what happened with that new one, but whatever, is what it is. So other than that, hope you guys enjoyed this video. The truck is doing truck things, and I'm in the sunshine. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. It's been an interesting road with this truck, and there's some crazy things that are going to be coming up here in the near future. Yeah, there's some crazy stuff that's going to be coming up in the near future. So other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like. It helped me out a lot. The bug that's on the top of my camera says so as well. A little micro bug. Go away. Oh, he's on the lens now. Anyways, yeah, drop a like. That'd help a lot. And if you do enjoy these videos or any of the previous videos, consider subscribing. I'm really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can have an income off this, and you know, all my filming will be worthwhile in terms of me being able to get some stuff back, you know, like getting a little bit of money from filming, because believe it or not, filming is actually very hard when you're doing stuff like this. You know, you basically are, it's very difficult to film stuff when you're like doing things that are very meticulous. So other than that, my name's Tyler. Thank you for watching. This is Tyler Creates YouTube channel, and yeah, I'm gonna sign off and pull my truck out of the yard and edit this video. And yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. For those of you that have tagged along in this whole journey, thank you so much, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. God bless. Do I like that thumbnail? No, I don't like that. Do I like that? Crouch down. F250.